Hi everybody, I'm meteorologist Roland Stedham here at the CBS 2 Weather Center. Let's talk about what the atmosphere appears to be doing, because now the picture is getting a little bit clearer. Each day that goes by, we have a better assessment of what's happening here and what's driving the weather across much of the northwestern part of the country, including Idaho. So first of all, we got a vigorous front that's headed this way tomorrow. Here's the state of Idaho, there's Boise right there, and you can see here's this feature that's coming in, and it's going to generate a cold front in the sense that it's going to pack a lot of wind. It'll pack some rain. It's not packing a lot of cold air. As I zoom out, look and see what's happening with the pattern beyond tomorrow. We have this train of moisture. This is what I call that atmospheric river, or it could also be called the Pineapple Express, because almost all of this moisture is streaming up from the Hawaiian Islands. Here's another storm that's already forming. Here's the problem that I'm seeing. The cold air is trapped up here in the Gulf of Alaska down into the coastline of British Columbia. What we need is for that cold air to work its way from the northwest to the southeast, but there's a blocking mechanism in the atmosphere that isn't allowing that to happen. Hence, the average high temperature for this time of the year is 38. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Where do you see the temperatures? Hovering between the 40s, mid-40s to the low 50s. Much warmer than average. So this is what I'm finally starting to figure out. Number one, here's a persistent trough of low pressure. This thing has been sitting here and spinning around and around, and it's acting like a pump, pulling in this conveyor belt of this Pineapple Express. What you want, if you want to see cold air, is you want to see this go from here down to here. But this is staying parked right where it's at. So all we get are bits and pieces of moisture that come around that big trough of low pressure and generate this moisture stream, mild temperatures because the flow's coming in out of the west-southwest, and snow levels of about ranging between 4,000 to 7,000 feet above sea level. That means that maybe some of the mid-level ski resorts every now and then will get snow, but I think the snow is going to be confined to the higher halves of many of our ski resorts. Now with the futurecast, this is early in the morning, 3 to 4 o'clock in the morning. Here comes this front. Look at this slug of moisture moving in, and then there's the actual front at right around 7 to 8 o'clock in the morning. A wind advisory is in effect for the Treasure Valley because there's a tight pressure gradient associated with this front. And then the model says the front is east of us in the afternoon, and we'll have partly cloudy skies. Watch what happens on Thursday. Remember I said occasional waves of moisture? Well, here comes the next slug of moisture, and that's going to be Thursday sometime during the day. On Thursday, mountain snow with valley rain and a little bit colder. So we break down the 7-day forecast for the Treasure Valley. Morning rain and windy conditions tomorrow. Periods of rain on Thursday. Periods of rain on Friday, and it's on again, off again. It's impossible to tell when one batch of rain will start and when it ends. Just know that the pattern is going to be unsettled. Saturday is the one day that looks like we'll be in between storm systems, but then periods of rain on Sunday, periods of rain on Monday, periods of rain on Tuesday, and if we look at the mountain forecast, rain, snow, windy. This is the mountain valleys, i.e. Long Valley. Rain, snow mix, and windy conditions. Periods of what could be rain and or snow. It's going to be very temperature dependent, but we're going to be right on that ragged edge of maybe getting cold enough air that we get some snow on Saturday in the mountain valleys, and periods of rain and snow on again, off again, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Based on what I'm seeing and how the models are projecting what's going to happen over the next 7 to 10 days, I would be very surprised if we had a white Christmas here in the Treasure Valley. Based on what I'm seeing right now, unless things drastically change, but I think the atmosphere is kind of getting settled into a groove. Based on what I'm seeing right now, if we do have precipitation here in the valley on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, it's probably going to be in the form of rain. I hope I'm wrong. I know my wife wants to see a white Christmas, but I just don't see it happening, again, based on what I'm seeing. So we'll continue to monitor this, folks, but it's kind of a complex weather system, but things are starting to behave like they want to settle into a pattern. And sometimes when Mother Nature gets settled into a pattern, you kind of have to go with what she's kind of leaning towards, and that's the way I see her leaning for right now. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll catch you. Always 24-hour weather is available on idahonews.com. idahonews.com, click on the weather tab, latest forecasts, and the latest on-air presentations will be there as well. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. See you later.